once you state the intention to your higher self to figure out where it is, I'm going to take that back, to not figure out, but to feel out what it is that you are entangled with your sister on this soul contract with. I think asking that question, asking for the support, and asking for the insights to come to you is going to be where you get back into that heart-centered space. My sister did something that was complete betrayal, and I can't find it in my heart to forgive her. I know that is not going to be helpful for me, but I don't know how to move past it. How can I get beyond this? First of all, I would say I really like that you're acknowledging that, there's a heart and a head component to this, and that your mind is definitely stopping you from dropping deeper into your heart. And I think that's okay to kind of have this mind mess for a little bit, but I would follow the trail of the mind mess, meaning follow those thoughts that you see coming around, because our mind wants to zoom in on the betrayal, zoom in on how that person made me feel, zoom in on I'm experiencing this emotion. Now, that's all good stuff to do because you want to acknowledge what's happening somatically in your body. But then there's a time and a space where you go, okay, but I don't want to continue to stay in that energy. I want to go deeper because I've asked at a soul level my sister to do this betrayal. And I know that's always hard because we're like, why would I do that? But the ones that are closest to us oftentimes have the juiciest, deepest nuggets and lessons for us. And so it feels that what you're really needing to do is get in and see sort of the periphery of what this is. And the periphery might be, it's very like dynamic. The periphery might be what's happening from childhood, right? So it's not just like this external environment periphery. It's like, yeah, let's go back to something that happened when we were little. It could be from a previous life, right? We don't really know exactly where the genesis is, but once you state the intention to your higher self to figure out where it is, I'm going to take that back, to not figure out, but to feel out what it is that you are entangled with your sister on this soul contract with. I think asking that question and asking for the support and asking for the insights to come to you is going to be where you get back into that heart-centered space. Otherwise, as we know, the mind will take us around and around and around and around. I always think of it as like a rabbit hole, right? We have these choices in life when the thoughts start coming, the betrayal, whatever the storylines are, and we're like walking around that little hole. And there's a point where we either dive in and we go deep and we just spend a lot of time trying to dig ourselves out, or we say, yeah, no, okay, I'm gonna feel deep, but I'm not gonna go deep in the storylines of the mind. So I feel like that's where you're at, is just a little bit of extra work, if you will, on not following the mind and just going deeper in and saying, okay, what's in it? What's in it for me? What is the deeper lesson? And don't be so hard on yourself about forgiveness. Forgiveness is obviously the answer to everything, as well as gratefulness. But sometimes I think we get really hard on ourselves for not forgiving ourselves and forgiving others. So try to stay out of that energy, because I feel like you're a very aware person. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking the question in the way that you did. So just really when you feel that harshness about like, I'm not able to forgive her, that feeling comes in, go take a hot bath if you can. Go, have a mantra that comes to mind that you say, okay, I'm going to just say this. I'm going to go back, go to a spot in your life where you had a beautiful moment with your sister, where you know that you had that love that was shared between the two of you. And then just anchor in, as much as you have all this other noise happening, anchor in that feeling of what it's like when you're with your sister and you had that loving look, that heartfelt look, and focus on that and ask that love that's within you to show you how to move through this. Because that's really where the answer is. It's not anywhere on the external. It's not going to come from the mind. It's going to come from the heart and the soul contract that the two of you have together. And just one other thing that comes to mind to share is, depending upon your relationship with her, you could also be bold And you could call her or text her and say, I'm having a really hard time and I want to forgive, but I'm not there yet. Would you be willing to just do a few exercises with me to look at what our soul contract is? And if she's someone that's open to that kind of work, you might be surprised, because then she goes, okay, maybe we're going to take the heat off of us and the details about us and get to something that's bigger than us and is going to help both of us, because she's also equally as impacted, in a sense, just different storylines, right? So she wants your love and you want her love. So I think that's going to be a way that you guys might be able to come to a happy medium. It's just like, hey, let's figure out what's the soul contract between us. And it lightens the mood just a little bit too. Gets you out of some of the deeper details. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. If not, I'm always happy for you to schedule a one-on-one session. We can go deeper, we can have more dialogue. And if you're on with us live, please write more and I can share more if necessary. All right. And each week I am so happy that you're here with us. I love having the questions come through. There's often themes and a lot of good stuff that comes. If you want more support, you can always go to bethbell.me. There's lots of guides and books. You can book a session. We've got the Awakening and Healing Handbook, the Psychedelics Resource Guide. There's also the Herpes Handbook and many, many more. If you have any interest in going deeper on your journey, I'm happy to support you in whatever way possible. You can always take the State of the Heart assessment on bethbell.me. And if you've liked anything today, like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, and then you'll be notified each week when we go live at 11:11 on Sundays, Pacific time. And until then, wishing you much bliss and love on the journey. Namaste.